So if you're putting more in the negative pile than in the positive pile, guess what you're going to pull in? Watch your words. Super, super, super powerful. Watching your words. Have you ever tried to do a manifestation or talked about manifestations and people were just be certain about it, just know it's coming in ahead of time, and you're, how do I know it's coming in if it hasn't come in? This doesn't make any sense. I can't do it. I'm really frustrated. How do I have certainty about something that I'm totally uncertain about? And that is a really excellent question. Sometimes you're trying to create something on an energetic level that you've never experienced. And that can come with a lot of subconscious blocks and doubts and fears and all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 4 different ways that you can have more certainty. Now, if you're a psychic, there's a whole bunch of other methods that you can use, but you're not a psychic. Maybe you're just a regular person and I'm trying to manifest a new job or a new boyfriend or a new car or whatever it is. So you want some certainty. Okay, so how do you create certainty if you have total doubt that you can't do it, right? Sometimes, I know what I was going to say. So sometimes you're trying to create something that you've never had before. Maybe you want a loving relationship, but you've never had someone who really love you. Maybe you want to make more money, but you've never made more than $70,000 a year. So it's hard to have certainty about something that you've never experienced. So there's a couple of hacks. Neville Goddard talks about a wonderful thing of pretending as if it is. So it's almost you can take a diary and write it back to your present self and go, oh, wow, I remember 3 years ago when I was looking for a job and I wanted all these things and I so got it and I so love my new job. So you can it's a way of acting as if. And again, you attach those emotions to it. He had a really great story about somebody pretending that they were married. So every night before they went to bed, they just kind of thought about their future husband and imagined that person laying next to them and all of that. And within a month, they had that. So I think pretending as if something is really happening really helps. So that's one of the things, is acting as if it's already happening. Another thing, part 2, is you want to watch your language. Our language is super powerful. Very, 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 very powerful. And if we are constantly having a lot of negative self-talk about what it is that we want, then what we're doing is we're doing energetic manifestations or whatever in order to create that thing. Every negative word that we say, all of that just it's like a balancing act. So if we say, okay, God, whatever, I'm putting out my energy manifestation, I did whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to have certainty, I'm trying to do this. But on the other hand, we're constantly talking with our friends, oh, I don't like this thing. And ooh, say you're trying to date and you can't find a boyfriend. You're like, oh, all men suck, all women suck, all this sucks. So if you're putting more in the negative pile than in the positive pile, that's what you're going to pull in. Yeah, it doesn't take a brain surgeon. You're going to pull that in. So you don't want to do that. Watch your words. Super, super, super powerful. Watching your words. And another thing that you can do is, the third thing you can do is, before you go to bed, activate your reticular activating system. I think that's what it's called. So our brain is constantly trying to solve problems. We don't like closed loops. We like to solve things. And sleep is this time that our subconscious becomes really alive. That's why our dreams can tell us a lot about what's happening with us. So if we activate our reticular activating system by asking ourselves a question right before we go to sleep, and that question can be something like, why is it so easy for me to find a new boyfriend? Boom. And then your brain is going to come up with all of those reasons why it's so easy. Oh, well, you look like this and you're in a great place and you have this to offer and that to offer. So your brain, do you remember back in the day when, back in the day, I'm going way back in the day, but maybe you saw Dickens movies where the horses all had, were called blinders, and they had these blinders on, and the horses, and the reason they had blinders on is they didn't want the horses to get distracted by people selling or yelling or throwing or dumping stuff from windows. They wanted the horses to be focused on where they were going. And so if the person riding carriage or whatever wanted the horse to turn right, he would turn the horse, so the horse had to move one way or the other so that horse could then know what was going on. So your reticular activating system, your brain is kind of like that. It's kind of it blinders. It's going to focus on what you point it to. So if you point it to, why is it so easy for me to create a new job? Why is it so easy for me to do this? Why is it so easy for me to do that? Then that's what your brain is going to close. It's so easy because this, it's so easy because of that. But a lot of us don't do that. A lot of times people are like, why is it so hard? It's so hard. Why is everything so difficult? Oh, boo-hoo, it's really challenging. And I know life is hard. It sucks. But if you're thinking about that, then what you're doing is you're putting your brain's blinders, you're putting that focusing system on why it's so hard. And as soon as you do, why is it so hard? Your brain doesn't care. Your reticular activating, it's just there to answer the questions, right? Why is it so hard for me to create a boyfriend? Well, it's so hard because you're overweight, and it's so hard because of this, and it's so hard. So it's going to start honestly spitting out all the answers to that question, right? So you want to focus your brain in the direction you want it to go when you're doing manifesting, and focus it in the way in which you're going to keep positive. And doing that right before you go to sleep is going to allow your subconscious to start getting involved, and it's going to allow you to start kind of juicing up your space so that you can call in, so you can have more of that certainty, more of that confidence that that thing is happening. If you really want to, really helps to do that. And then what was the release subconscious blocks? Watch your language. Oh, I guess I just had three of them. I just had three things I was going to talk about. I mean, there's a ton of psychic tools with all of this, but I'm trying to talk to people without psychic tools. So anyway, so that is one of those are some ways that you can start shifting your subconscious so that you can more actively bring in what it is that you're wanting. And the more you do that, the more you start shifting in. So what happens when we're manifesting is we are aligning our mind, our energy field with the thing that we're trying to create. We want to make it all aligned. So the more we're aligned, the more we're in sync, the more we're vibrating at that place of what we want, the more we're going to still pull that to us. Okay, so that was that for today. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a question. If you like more of this content, please press like and subscribe. My name is Kawena Charlot. I run the Intuitive Path Academy, and I also do readings and healings and all kinds of good fun stuff. So until next time, thank you guys for joining me. Bye-bye.